last week we did a little video showcasing 5 design quirks that realistically didn't make all that much sense, and you guys seem to really enjoy it, and as of making this is nearly at over 1,000 likes. So I figured let's do a little bit of a follow-up because there's still some things out there that are pretty quirky in the design aspects of the game and everything like that, but just to clarify before we get too far into it, the biggest thing that I saw out of that comment section was the point of complaining just to complain. Now, I mentioned this in a little bit of a follow-up pinned comment with it, but I don't wish for any of this to serve like I'm looking for things to complain about. I'm just genuinely interested in and find some of these quirks intriguing and want to share them with you guys. I'm one of the most laid-back people when it comes to gaming, and none of these genuinely affect the gameplay, but I still find the design approach to them interesting and amusing. So this little series that we've created is more so whimsical and to be like, hey, you know what? That's kind of nifty. I wonder why that's there. More so like that than anything else. But that said, let's jump right into 5 more design quirks that don't necessarily make all that much sense. Starting us off today at number 1, we're going to talk a little bit about the newest weapon that we got showcased within weekend 2 of the beta, that being the M1928, or rather the Thompson as you guys may know it more so as. Now this model that we have for the M1928 isn't actually the M1928 itself. It's instead a model of the M1928A1. And you may hear this referred to as the M1A1 in some cases, but it's drastically different in the model, and some things just don't line up from what we have in terms of attachments and everything like that to the real life variation that is the M1928. If you were to take a look at the actual M1928, not the A1 that we have right now as the model, but instead at the M1928, that would be very much so like the one that we saw in, say, Revelations and Black Ops 3, where it has the barrel, the frontal grip, the magazine, whether that be a stick or a round drum, and then the rest of the weapon to follow thereafter. But the M1928A1 does not have that frontal grip, which is what we're supposedly missing here in this model, and actually the A1 variation of this only used 20 to 30 round stick magazines for the ammunition. So what we actually have in game is more so an A1 variation, but with somehow the ability to add on a round drum magazine to it. This is one that right out of the E3 footage that we had a long while ago up on the channel, that people picked up on immediately. So that's something that I figured we'd bring back up here and start the discussion out with in this one. Now number 2 actually is a little bit of probably a bug at this point, but it was something that if you end up looking at it from watching somebody do it, it looks hilarious. If you do it yourself, well, you won't necessarily notice, but it is still something that is rather intriguing. This being that if you call in a glide bomb while in midair, you end up actually freezing and it makes you float. Your character model just sits there hanging suspended in midair. Of course, you can still get picked off, so if somebody sees you do this, if you try it out for yourself, assuming it's not patched up by the time of the full launch of the game, somebody could see you, pick you off, kill you off your streak, whatever it may be. Still acts just like a normal game, but you're just hanging in midair, so not necessarily a normal game. Number 3 though, we're actually gonna go over to a little bit of a tactical quirk within World War II. Smoke is something that has offered up a nice little change in the meta for how it works, in which it blurs everything in terms of your mini-map. It's pretty thick to see through, but there is one thing that doesn't necessarily make sense and almost defeats the purpose that you might have noticed if you end up playing War. Whereas the body models are hidden within smoke, names are not hidden though at points in time, whereas it could be completely through the veil of the smoke, but you could still see where the player's name is, which gives away, again, where that body is, and then you can end up getting the shot off. This isn't anything like where you've seen previously in Call of Duty though, where somebody has to be peeking out of the smoke, or just at the very edge of it. They can be completely behind it, and you'll still end up seeing their name. So interesting that it was designed as such, but I think that this might be something that is adjusted once the full launch of the game ends up happening, as with, say, that last one with the glide bomb glitch. But moving on into the 4th position here, this is one that actually you guys submitted from the last week's episode, because I haven't really done all that much sniping in World War II, but you guys pointed out that the bolt-action snipers end up using stripper clips within World War II, but there's a little bit of a quirk here with this, because while using stripper clips, you can't insert them into your rifle where the scope is, which is what ends up happening. So in a practical sense, there would not be enough room to get that ammunition loaded into your weapon, but instead we have a situation where theoretically you're putting ammunition through your scope. So it is interesting and it is what it is, but once again, one that you guys totally picked up on, I completely missed, and I thought we'd end up featuring here in this follow-up episode. Now the final thing that we are going to take a look at here within this one, once again, deals with what may be very well a little bit of a bug, but this actually deals with your YY animation, or your triangle, though nobody will refer to it as that. But whether you're trying to cancel a reload, you end up switching to your secondary by accident, but you really want to get back to your primary, the YY swap is something that is rather commonplace in every Call of Duty game. But one thing you may have noticed is that the Airborne Division, more specifically with the suppressor attached on your weapon in the Airborne classification, this is something that you could not YY or weapon swap back to your original as you could with literally any other class. Now, as for the reasoning, it doesn't really make all that much sense. There's no clear-cut definition as to why, but the silencer acts as a little bit of a bug here that negates that YY effect. You can do it with any other weapons, snipers, LMGs, shotguns, pistols, assault rifles, all that kind of stuff, and you can even do it with an SMG without a suppressor attached on it. But as soon as you put on that suppressor, it then makes it whenever you double tap the triangle or Y that you end up just switching to your secondary as if you only hit it one time. It adds a little bit of a negated period towards that, in which it causes you not to swap twice but only once. So once again, as for why, it's not necessarily known, but a little bit of a quirk here nonetheless that I think will be ironed out by the time launch comes, but who knows? But all that said and out of the way though, that is 5 more quirks here within Call of Duty World War II, and of course now that the beta is over, we have a little bit of time to look forward to what the future may hold as for the full release. But I wanted to share this with you guys once again because not only was last week's episode a huge hit, but I also had some more stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. But that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Do you have any design quirks that you guys may have picked up on that I didn't in the last 2 episodes? Feel free to let me know down there in the comment section down below. Hopefully, once again, this does not come off as complaining. I don't wish for it to be as such. I just like to share these little interesting design quirks with everybody that I picked up on over the past 2 weeks. That said, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Call of Duty World War II, especially moving forward now into the full launch. We'll keep you guys updated with everything you need to know, so if you guys are interested at all in any of that, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a beat. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. I practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.